So, yeah. So long time friends with Bob, as well as this new guy.
Well, I do swear that I wasn't thinking about if you knew the devs or not when I sent you this game. So hopefully you aren't secretly enemies, and I'm not making you play a game made
No,
by people that you'd rather throw rocks at.
not in the
So,
slightest.
okay. I think we have Joseph. I think that worked.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes,
Hey, Joseph.
welcome.
Hey, we love Nolan.
Yeah, we love Joseph and
All
Bob.
right. Awesome. All right. So the first game that we've got here is Refractor, which is a rename, right? I recall it being called something else.
Yeah, it used to be called Tetropolis. That
Yeah.
was when we first showed it about 2 years ago. Yeah, about 2 years ago. We ended up changing the name recently. Kind of a long story. And we showed the game very early on at GDC, like almost exactly 2 years ago. We were in development for about a year. We did a Kickstarter, which was kind of a bit of a mess. We ended up launching like during one of the busiest news cycles ever. Like it included Gamergate, Ferguson. I even think
Robert Williams.
Robin Williams died during the same time. So it was just like we just got hit by so many news things coming up like during that 1 month where we were doing our Kickstarter that it
Tragedy
just
after tragedy.
completely got lost. Yeah. And yeah, we were going to make the game regardless of whether Kickstarter succeeded or not. It was just going to kind of help us make it sooner than later, since we've been working on this game longer than 2 years, just kind of on our own time and money, and we just kind of been eking out development since then. But we did before we had a lot of like really heavy Tetris elements in the game, and we actually ended up talking to Tetris and I
Talk
don't know
to
how much I can.
Tetris?
Yeah, we talked to the Tetris
The
company.
Tetris.
The
Yeah,
Tetris.
talked to
It's,
two
it's kind of a
Tetris.
big Borg. It's like a Borg cube. That's sort of this.
So yeah, a bunch of blocks. Really hard to talk to.
Kneel in
Uh,
front of it and hail the team.
no, but it's basically like Ubisoft holds all the rights for publishing Tetris games on most modern consoles. So regardless if they wanted to give us a license or not, they literally couldn't.
Hmm.
So we decided, hey, better to just kind of make sure we're not stepping on anyone's toes
Yeah.
and move away from that as much as possible. So you're actually seeing the latest iteration for the game. Nolan actually play tested one of our early versions of the game. So this has some elements he's familiar with and a lot he's not.
That's
Interesting.
exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how you feel it's changed. So that should be really cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully a lot. I was actually watching someone play what Joseph lovingly calls the lunchbox build. It was our build we put up for our Kickstarter, and the lunchboxes being these ovens that the pieces come out of look like lunchboxes.
Oh, okay.
It's really
Yeah, they're
early,
kind
really
of
early graphics.
very charming. But yeah, it was just kind of surprising to see the stark contrast between what it looked like a year ago versus now.
Nice.
So it should be a nice surprise.
Yeah, totally. I guess with that note, let's get started by clicking on this. There you go. Okay, so I guess I'll just start a new game.
So I'm not seeing any game. Oh, there it is. Okay. There's
Yeah, had to click on the window.
Hopefully it works because we were up until like 11 or 12 last night getting a build ready. It's not the ideal situation, but we wanted to get some new features in.
Simple start.
What are some of the new features that you snuck into it?
Oh, for some reason it's not letting my controller work. Oh, there it goes.
Try 'em.
Nope,
Yeah.
it worked. It just took a second for it to recognize it.
It auto detects.
Oh, okay, cool, nice.
So it's even if you have a remote one, a wireless one, you just turn it off or it runs out of batteries. Just slap some new batteries and it'll
Cool.
that was a new feature. Unity doesn't normally do that when you put up on the server.
So we're getting a history lesson in Refactor.
Yes.
Yes.
It starts off with you kind of learning about
So the basics of how the game works.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of set up like the Refactor is kind of a fictional game that we decided to base this world on. As you can see, it's kind of a little Petromino-based puzzle game. We actually have a full version of this game.
Nice.
We built for Android. We haven't released it. We may eventually, but it's got a bunch of little puzzle game, block puzzle. Completely brain dead this morning. Still need more coffee. It's got a series of puzzles and a bunch of different mechanics that you can go through it. So it's kind of a neat little puzzle game we ended up developing. This was kind of our answer to replacing the Tetris elements. We were just like, you know what? Let's just make our own little Petromino-based game. And as you'll see later, like that actually works out rather well because it's more strongly tied to the other puzzle mechanics you play in the game.
Nice. So a new little intro video. Hadn't seen that before.
Yeah, this is all new stuff.
Yeah, you played the pre-Kashmir build, as we call it. Kashmir being the code name for the puzzle gaming. All of our code name for projects are named after different types of fabric.
Oh, well, the Next Gen Pants fabric, yeah.
Yep.
Do you have like a corduroy version?
No corduroy yet.
Those
are just code names for the different products.
Okay.
I did start a dev doc on denim.
So yeah, so this we have a block, I guess, that has failed its inspection.
Yep, that's the gist of the story. There's kind of this world is set up inside the game where they're building all these pieces for these puzzles and.
So okay, so this is so this is the factory behind Refactor, and this is where they build the pieces for the puzzles. And this particular puzzle piece did not fit the requirements deemed necessary.
Yeah, because they're all 4 blocks. These guys are all not.
It's very much sort of a game inside of a game inside of a game. Sort of
Alright, ran away from the blades. Oh, and then everyone was electrocuted.
Yeah, I'm just watching the stream slightly delayed.
Yeah, the stream will have a little bit of a delay, yeah. Alright. I'm back in control now.
Yeah, it's all like physics-based platforming type stuff. Since we, originally the game idea came off of the joke of making a Tetroidvania, matching up Tetris with Metroid and Metroidvania.
Yeah.
And it just kind of the very first prototype I made was literally just running around as a cube. And
I do remember that first prototype. I remember playing that, the little cube running around.
Yeah,
I will say that this one controls a lot better than that one.
Yeah, we've done a lot to the platforming controls. We're still, refining them here and there, but over the last year or two, we've come a long way. Even if you look at some of the old builds we had, it's a lot more floaty, and we're trying to learn how to do a physics-based platformer really well, like before,
Well, that's one of my comments, because I did play a very early version of this game that I think this one controls really well compared to that one. Not saying that one didn't control well. It's just there was a couple of times, especially being a small Tetronimo, this one just controls it's much smoother, I guess. I feel like when I put a command, it actually does exactly what I think it's gonna do. I guess that's the best way to think about it.
Yeah, there was a little more. It was a little more unpredictable earlier on, and there was more emphasis on momentum, and that's still there. But now we kind of rein things in a little bit more. We do a little more pseudo physics. You'll notice if you move and then stop, your character will actually right themselves. So you can now actually stand on the edge of platforms.
Oh, okay, instead of like just falling off, like with the physics.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Previously, the physics would have pulled it over.
Structural control unit. New user detected. Tuning for relocation to return the control room to any time. Press and hold the B button. Oh, to exit. Okay. Detecting limited functionality. Got some stuff offline.
Yeah, so this is kind of their first tutorial how to apply what you first did in that little puzzle game to the world. The meta puzzle for you.
So I have a destination I want to get to, and I need to make a path to get to it. Okay, and this is just showing an actual view of the rooms in the world moving around. Valid pathway detected.
Yeah, originally, like back in the... Because we've gone through so many iterations of this map editor and ways to teach people how to use these puzzles. Very, very early on. I don't know if you played that really bastardized version, but we started making because we were more playing with the Tetris idea, and we actually had it so you like Tetris style stacked in the blocks, like each room, and it was terrible.
Oh,
it was
really?
horrible because we had it so you had to place each.
You had to actually play like Tetris style, or
yeah. And they like gravity affected it, so like of course you had to stack rooms together the way that would actually cause it to work.
Oh, wow.
Like it was it was a pain in the ass, because it was like you wanted to change one room or one positioning on one room, you had to do all of them again.
I see.
Or you had to like go back and then place everything in place afterwards. Like it's the worst. Then we changed to kind of this weird into another like way of selecting rooms. Like we had it so you had to like kind of, you were always selecting one room and you pointed the direction of the stick where you want to select another room. That kind of worked, and we ended up moving to just doing a cursor-based selection, so you can actually drag them up. Like if you were using your mouse, you could actually just kind of click on the pieces and drag them up in place, and then right-clicking would rotate them.
Okay, cool. I was just checking out how you could see what you're talking about with the block correcting itself. It always seems to go to a position of like kind of not physics. Likes to write itself to 90 degrees. Physics takes a place on it until it's on a flat surface, and then it corrects itself. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it makes it feel like, because when you let go, you tend to slow down a lot faster than you would normally, and we just want to make sure that you're not doing something you don't want to. You always want to be like
point acquired.
And that is actually part of the new system.
Okay, I was about to say, because I played this the other day to make... I didn't realize that thing was going to fall. I played this the other day to make sure the game was working properly. I don't remember that.
Really?
Maybe I just forgot about it.
Maybe. Yeah, the upgrade system, that recently got introduced. The upgrade system isn't totally in yet. It's kind of our answer to how do you make the Metroidvania, or how do you make it reward exploration. So now we have these upgrade points. They're scattered throughout the world. These points you can spend on various abilities and characteristics of your character. That'll either improve a certain ability you can gain later, or that'll kind of change gameplay slightly. And we're planning on having it be a lot more free form, so people can try something out and then reset the points somewhere else. Like if they're having a really hard time with a section, they can decide, I want to put more points into decreasing the range that enemies detect me, so I can be more stealthy, or I can avoid enemies a little bit better. Kind of stuff.
Interesting. Stealth from enemies in this Metroidvania game.
Yeah, it's a very weird game. But we have, obviously, it's you don't have guns, you don't like have bombs, or you don't shoot things. So combat is not a really big focus of the game. And that's sort of like you haven't taken any damage yet. There hasn't really been too many hazards, but the character doesn't have that much life. So you'll notice as soon as you take damage, the blocks, the light in the blocks will go out.
Kind of like how earlier with the electricity.
Yeah, you'd only really have as much life as you have blocks. So it's very, very low life.
So I guess right now I would have 3 life, and then okay, and then maybe 4.
Yeah, if you get hit third time you die. So it's kind of, since you have so little life, we didn't really, obviously we can't have the challenge be too high, because like if you have like a bullet hell type game where you have like a Metroid or a Castlevania where you have a lot of projectiles, you can get hit quite a few times before you're really in danger. And obviously with this, it's like you get hit 3 times, you're done.
Yeah.
So it's a way of kind of having to balance between focusing on combat and vulnerability, as well as giving you the tools to avoid damage. So it's slightly different from what you'd normally expect.
Seems like I can't get into this room. A possible Metroidvania element.
Yeah, that's just that the room is not in the right orientation. It's a hatch that's too heavy to open.
Yeah. Oh, and so maybe if the room was in a different orientation, the hatch would just open on its own.
Exactly.
I see. I know how puzzle games work.
I really did. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, since it's all physics-based all done in real time, there's a lot of elements in the game where rooms orientations plays a big role.
I didn't really have a question or anything. I just wanted to say that I really do love the fact that you have not only like this block that you're moving around that is this tetranome, but the pieces of the world are as well, and that you can rotate them.
Yeah, we went like real crazy with that.
I guess I kind of do have a question in that, which is kind of, what was the like level design challenges involved in that type of stuff? Because you have to have a kind of very diverse options, I guess. Like you have to handle all these different possibilities.
It is
a nightmare. So when we originally started, we made it so you could move any room, and you can kind of move them at any point, like really kind of rearrange it. And that was just a little too much, because there's a lot of problems with allowing people to move rooms they haven't been in, because you can't predict how they'll first encounter a room.
You don't know how the room's going to react to you changing it.
So we had problems where people were getting abilities yet without being able to use them, since we tie abilities to shapes. Like they would acquire an ability for a shape before they actually picked up the shape itself, and that was really confusing for players. And also you have a room where it's like, I expect the player to have these abilities when they enter the room, but if they can connect it to the control room at any point and they've never been in there, then we can't really adjust for the challenges in that room. So we ended up doing is we decided, okay, well, we'll lock down some rooms. So those are the red rooms. You cannot move red rooms. So they're always going to be where they're located. And that helps us eliminate some of the combinations, as well as you can only move rooms you've been in. So the gray rooms are rooms you haven't discovered yet.
Okay.
So that allows you to kind of
I noticed that when I went into a gray room, it turned green. Or this one turned red, I guess, because this one I can't move at all.
Right. And we can accurately predict what abilities you'll have when you enter that room, and we know pretty much exactly how you're going to be viewing the room the first time. So it allows us to, a lot more consistency in our design, and we try to make it so if you can move a room and you can orient it in a specific way, then you should be able to traverse through it.
So something just happened. I got like a little block on my block. Yeah. Is that like a shield or?
Yeah, it's the armor block.
Oh, okay, cool.
So now you have an extra temporary health point. That's one way we have to kind of temporarily increase the amount of life you have. So otherwise, you'd be stuck with 4 life through the entire game. But these little temporary armor blocks allow you to kind of get a little bit of padding before you expose to some of the bigger threats.
Ooh, like fire. But yeah, so similar to like something like Symphony of the Night, it seems like any room can be like used in different orientations. Like I'm looking at the rooms and I'm like, yeah, I could see myself going through this room at a different angle and still being able to, you know, traverse my way through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we know that in this room, we know, okay, well, even if you were to, or if you were at the control room, we'd know you'd have the square block and you'd be able to jump 8 units high. So we'd make sure that when we order the room, even if it's vertical or if it's turned around, then you should be able to make all the jumps as a square block.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, later we'd expect you to have certain other abilities, then we can actually go, okay, well, we can have bigger jumps because we know you now have different either augmentations, which you won't run into any augmentations in this first area, but we have different sets of augmentations that kind of change the player. The first one being like a magnetic augment, so you'll magnetize yourself, and you can attach to magnetic surfaces and kind of walk up the walls and walk across the ceiling. It's a short kind of thing, so it's you have a little bit of charge, and all the augmentations kind of drain your energy as you use them.
And what is this little laser grid that's scanning me? Is that for any purpose or?
Yes. So that's scanning for imperfect pieces.
Oh.
So those actually got added like yesterday. We're still getting in a lot of the
and I guess it detected an imperfect piece.
Exactly. So you're no longer you're not just 4 blocks. You actually have a 5th block on you.
Yeah, because I found that yellow guy and he was missing a block, and so I wanted to, I guess, get this yellow block for him.
And Toast is asking in the chat if there's combat upgrades, and kind of you can buy armor blocks that will actually attach to you when you're at a save point. So instead of having to go out and collect armor, you'll actually spawn with it. There's also the upgrades can be spent on the different abilities as well. So like there will be a slam upgrade, there will be upgrades for other abilities, as well as upgrades for the augmentations themselves. So while you might not have much utility with like a magnetic slam, there are other augmentations like the electrical augmentation, which would electrify you for a short period. And like an electric slam would actually cause a stop fight. We also have the different shapes of abilities, like the eye block or the line block is the super jump, spring jump. And the T block is kind of like a grapple, but you can do things like combine the grapple with the electrical augmentation and kind of create a taser effect. There's lots of little ways that we end up changing these core abilities by the use of augmentations and upgrades.
And I quickly jumped through this room because I assumed I needed to be at the bottom, but I assumed wrong.
Yeah. Well, you can see on the map it rotated.
Yes. All right.
Originally, we back in the old build now. No, you didn't shot.
I was? That hurts you?
Yeah, you're taking damage.
Oh, I see it now. Oh, crap.
Yeah, you couldn't see it because the yellow block was actually
yeah, it's covering. Okay.
Occluding the but the originally we had it so when you picked up the yellow block, it actually went to like an inventory screen, and that was kind of people wouldn't notice it was there because it would just show up like up in the corner.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know what this is. So we decided, you know what? We'll just attach it to the character. It's kind of good.
Do I get more health at the save spot?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go there.
So the save spots always act as kind of a recharge station.
Okay, cool.
So, I don't know quite, like my brain's still having trouble. I have coffee here, it's too hot to drink. But but I'm curious if you could like kind of tell the people who are watching sort of what your backgrounds are, because I know it's not, you didn't all work at 4-Player Podcast before, did you? The whole team?
Most of us, yeah.
Most of, oh really? Oh, see, that's interesting too. Yeah, like how this all kind of came to be, and what you're like, how you divide skill sets, and like who is it in your group that knew how to program that kind of stuff?
I'm actually was a programmer by trade. I worked at a tech company in San Francisco for a number of years. I actually quit my job 2 years ago to work full time on this. But I was traditionally educated as a software developer. So that's kind of my background. I actually have been making games for almost 20 years. I've taught myself how to program to make games explicitly. So I've just kind of been working on tiny projects here and there on the side. Never really released anything up until this point. Just always kind of working on small projects and just having fun with what I can make. Then eventually I ended up finding a 4-player podcast online and volunteering my ability to them to help with the website and stuff. So I actually ended up working with them for a number of years. I think I joined back, God, how many years ago was that?
This is a little while ago.
2009? 2010?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
2010, somewhere around there. And that's where I actually met Joseph and Nolan and Jeff, who was in chat as a Quality Beats. He also ended up meeting through there. He's the musician on the game. But yeah, we ended up all kind of. I wanted to actually make games for reals because I've been doing it part time for so many years that I was like, all right, I've got to do this, or I'm just gonna hate myself forever for not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll eventually have like a house and a mortgage and actually need a job. So I'm just like, screw it. I might as well do it before I'm too old. So I found, I actually discovered that Joseph was like, one day he tweeted out, oh, I picked up modeling again, and he just posted this 3D model. I was like, oh, Joseph, you want to make 3D art for me? He said yes. Now he's doing 3D art all the time now. And also the last person on our team who was in, I don't know if he's in chat or not. He's the sound designer, and we ended up actually meeting him through the community. I was posting on the Steam, the 4-player podcast forums about finding people to put together a team to make some games. And he offered his services as a sound designer. So he didn't. Yeah. Twisted Mifu is in chat. That's Matt, who's our sound designer. So he's the guy that makes all the cool bleeps and bloops and collision sounds for the game.
Bleeps
so if you
and
notice,
bloops are pretty awesome.
If you hit a surface, you'll notice that each surface makes a different sound,
Mm-hmm.
but they all make like a series of sounds, and they don't play the same sound twice in a row. So there's like each surface has about 3 to 4, maybe even 5 different collision sounds, and that's all.
Yeah, for when you're rolling across it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to do a lot of really neat stuff with the audio to just make it so it feels the room or the world feels a lot more dynamic and alive, as opposed to just playing the same sounds over and over. Yeah, so you can see as you kind of rearrange, they're behaving slightly differently.
Mm-hmm.
This room isn't quite finished because it did get added this week. But so there is another upgrade point in that room you can't get to yet.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, like right now, there's no way to get to it. Eventually, you'll be able to actually destroy those batteries that are aligned in the room, and they'll open up the hatch that's off to the side that'll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see the big hatch with the upgrade behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. We still need to add a little bit of artwork there to make it a little more clear.
No.
But that's the at least plan for is to make it so we reward people for exploring these rooms and trying them in different orientations.
Yeah.
Since you can tell like the platforms shifted and changed, but they're always oriented so they're horizontal. Those are kind of our rotational platforms. That way we can always have a consistent platform in this consistent orientation for rooms. We want to explore reward exploration experiments too. So it's.
Oh, I just died.
I guess what do you die? Yeah, will just pop back.
Yeah, the electricity not having fun times with me.
Actually, I think you might need to I don't think you have a valid path into that next room.
Oh, I don't? I thought I did. You might be right. Let me look back at the...
Yeah, it pulls you. And whenever you relocate, when you relocate, you'll go back to the map editor. When you die, you just kind of pop out.
Mm-hmm. So is that not a valid... Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. It's not a valid path.
Yeah, it should kind of pop up the you should see everything get highlighted.
Well, that was my bad. Let me try and find a valid one. Nope, that won't work. That won't work. I'll get it, I promise. No. Yeah, for some reason I thought I had saw a thought I'd seen a path, but I thought wrong.
Yes, this is gonna be like 90%. It's hopefully we try to, obviously with the number of pieces you have there, there's not too many.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things where we're trying to make sure that we're not overwhelming people right off the bat. Since I got our original build had through like 14 rooms at someone, and they can remove all of them at the, but without even exploring them, and it was just tragic to see people get frustrated. Look at the map the first time we go, oh god, I can't do this, and walk away.
I'm sure it's also frustrating from a developer slash person who's played this game plenty to look at someone trying to solve a puzzle and you know the solution and you're like, no, you're right there, and then you don't. So I'm assured that that's what you're feeling right now as I'm struggling to get the rooms correct.
I don't know, it's interesting for me because I always like to see the different solutions people come up with, because that allows me to kind of make sure that we're accounting for other solutions. Because, like I said, if you have the abilities, you should be able to go and explore these rooms. Like, we don't want it to...
This was a really simple solution that I made way too difficult. Alright, well, I got it now. Let's try this.
You messed up all the rooms. Because everything is... those rooms are actually moving while you're doing that.
Yeah, so I mean,
so
anything
all
in the room,
gravity
like
objects
boxes
in there
are like
can be
flown
thrown
around and stuff. Yeah.
Eventually, you'll get the ability to look inside of those rooms.
If you can also hear, so like we had that room where they had the alarms outline room that changed. If you move that room next to the control room, you'll start hearing like sounds from other rooms as you move them closer.
Oh, okay, so like the sound effects that are going on,
they're persistent.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, they're persistent. So you can kind of almost hear rooms and then they're closing.
Yeah, there's one thing Jeff mentioned is that you can actually reset the map at any time, like when you're in the map editor.
Okay.
So it allows you kind of either go back to your last configuration you had when you entered the editor, or it'll reset to what the map was when you first entered the level. So it's a way you can just kind of not, if you get really just kind of mixed up and the rooms are like all in different places, then you can be like, all right, well, let me just kind of put this back to where it was.
Oh, nice. It's like a morph ball.
Yeah.
Tiny little block runs off.
We do want to emphasize that these are two different characters. So we do have sections of gameplay where you'll play as one or the other. So it's a little bit like, I guess if you played Ratchet and Clank, it's kind of like the Clank levels.
So is it potentially, like, is this masking some sort of love story between these two Geronimos?
Possibly. They do definitely have different personalities and different objectives, and that kind of will unfold as you play the game. Since we do have it's difficult, obviously, because we're not using any spoken dialogue. So we try to do everything through cutscenes and gestures and whatnot, and action. But yeah, we do have a story that kind of unfolds as you play between these two characters. Their personalities are a little different, and they have different objectives. So those will definitely.
So can you separate them at any point, or later on will you get the ability to separate them at any point, or is it limited to? Certain
right now,
areas?
it's just limited to specific areas. That is something we could consider. Though, yeah, I don't know. It's there's nothing that would stop us from doing that. So if you wanted to have it be like you gain the option or ability to detach these people, it would be kind of hard to figure out.
You'd have to design the world around that any point in time. There could be.
There would need to be advantages, or there would need to be clear points at which you should use that. And right now there's not. since that would moving around as the single block doesn't really give you much advantage at all.
Yeah.
Unless it's obviously, here's a little tight spot that I can only get into as a single block. That's then at that case, it's like, well, you might as well just kind of have it be a scenario where you just kind of pop out automatically, as opposed to making the player push another button to have it detach. I don't know. I'll think about it. It depends on if we feel like there's enough application to make it.
So it sounds kind of like you're still in a fairly early process with this. Like, it looks like you're still implementing various features and coming up with solutions for things that you're doing.
We have all the worlds kind of designed. We have like a good portion of the world design. All the skills are like the design document's pretty much pretty solid now. We could add some things here and there, but there's not going to be too much we're really going to be adding, since we've kind of, when we first were designing the game, we blew the scope completely out, and we were like, oh, we can do all these things, and then we kind of are sort of like, all right, well, now I never expected this solution.
Yeah.
You can just relocate.
Yeah, no, I did already. Yeah.
But we pared down a lot of things. We're trying to make it a lot more simple. We have a definite set of things we are implementing or have implemented. We got about let's see, getting close to about half of the game or half of the world being made. There's not too much new stuff we're going to be doing outside of just the upgrade system. It's kind of the biggest new feature.
Bob, do you think do you think I can get through with this? I'm gonna try.
Yeah. I mean, if you can make the first jump.
Yeah, that first jump was just the hardest part. Oh, crap.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's literally it. Like I can probably fix that jump by just putting it on the platform. I didn't expect this to be a valid solution. Sometimes the Doomba bots.
Oh, maybe not.
They move the wrong direction.
I think I might. I think this. Oh, I did like a wall jump.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I can get through right here.
It's interesting to see like an unexpected solution becoming unviable because of the inside of it, making it kind of a little bit less of an actual solution.
Whereas if you had a different ability, if you actually had the line piece, you could totally make it through here, no problem.
Because the line piece, if I recall, gives the ability to jump very high.
Yeah, it pretty much doubles your jump.
Alright, well, maybe I'll try for a different solution then.
Yeah. That was a not expected.
And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. With a game like this, is you have to, and kind of what Alex was talking about, you have to come up with so many solutions, and everything has to be able to work together perfectly to have the game function properly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the ones. Well, I'm sure there's more solutions, but that was one of the few that I guess missed. It was just because there are more than one solution. Obviously, there's more than one solution to this. We've come up with several on our own, but obviously, it's through playtesting, people uncover a lot more. I know whenever we showed it at a PAX, so people were always doing weird things. Which is where we kind of ended up fixing a lot of the core design problems by having the answers to the puzzles kind of, or people trying to play with the puzzle and coming up with solutions we didn't think of, or getting to an area they shouldn't be like earlier on. So that's why we kind of pared down a lot of the things and made it so only certain rooms can be moved, and so you can only move stuff you've been in. So it's
Nolan has the exam as well. He could have been looking at.
Oh yeah, you do have the exam mode, but yeah, well, it's a little buggy right now. So
I'm not a cheater.
We're going to be kind of cleaning up the exam mode too, but we've kind of gone through a couple iterations of that, and we're getting up on a kind of a final solution for it. Like this is obviously it's such a complex game and so many different elements to it. That it's been a real design challenge for kind of putting together all the bits of the game.
Can I make this jump?
Yeah, you can. It's a little tricky, but you can.
I believe in myself.
I have to jump out and then swing.
Yeah.
So as far as like you're talking about how you're pretty much at this point, it sounds like you're sort of feature locked. You've figured out like the majority of your scope at this point. How, like, compared to how long you expected it to take to make this game, how long has it been taking, and how are you feeling about that? Because I know that's something I hear every
at
dev
least an
talk
extra
about.
like a year or so.
Yeah.
Like I think when I was naively at the very beginning when I first started this game, I was like, oh shit, I'll just quit my job and be done with this game in 8 months. No. I mean, now we're looking at probably releasing towards the. Later this year, but really ideally, I would like to even take longer than that. It just depends on when we want to release. Like, I don't want to release during that winter kind of push because it's so easy to get just swallowed in the mountain of releases during winter. Like, if you try to release in October or November, it's just good luck. You're not like you're competing with so many AAA releases that are coming out for that Christmas rush. So it's a little bit of a suicide to launch your game during that period. So obviously that's the one point where we wouldn't want to. Ideally, we'd launch somewhere like in February or March of the year after. That's like the most kind of downtime period during the year. I think it's the advantage of having more exposure. But I mean, obviously that would set us launching in like another year, which more time. Obviously, you looked at the earlier versions of this game. We've definitely benefited from having more time. But of course, there's a point where you need to just get it out the door.
Yeah,
otherwise,
just kind of
you lose all of your PR push and everything, or you just kind of start to overcomplicate things and pull a Phil Fish, where you're just kind of looking at each little tetromino and antagonizing over it for 5 years.
Perfecting every little thing. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I understand where especially when smaller dev companies, you don't want to, a larger company might understand that their game has flaws, but they're on a budget, they have a time limit, they have people who are saying the money makers, you got to put this out now no matter what. Whereas when you're smaller, you can kind of be like, I'm not going to put it out until I complete this. But to that extent, if you look at a game like Spy Party, which has been in development for so long. It's one of those things where it's like at some point it might be good to have someone just telling you just do it. Like maybe the game's not where you want it to be, but some people still might enjoy it where it is right now. Oh crap!
Yeah, that was welcome to the first boss.
Yeah,
I don't think this. I'm pretty sure this guy was not here when you.
He was not, and he's getting me good.
Yeah, this is the skill check.
Alright, I got this. Oh! God, it's so scary.
We're trying to, obviously we don't want to make this game easy. We want it to be, some challenge there, but obviously we don't want to have a very high required skill level for it. So we were trying to find a nice, happy medium between still remaining there being a challenge and not being super deployed.
Dude, this challenge, but it's intense. Like I died, but that was an intense fight, and that was more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Trying to dodge the saw blades, and hit the points. So yeah, dude, I actually really, even though I died, I really liked it, and I'm excited to try that again.
Good. And all the bosses are kind of designed to be big like that. Like it's like with what Jeff was saying in chat. All the bosses are it's kind of a skill check. So they're all making sure you
understand the skills you've learned.
In order to move on to the next area. And that's kind of I've obsessively
hacks.
Listen to
and
read a bunch of design stuff and stuff from other developers. I think I can't remember who was talking about it. Might there have been like Kamiya or something. Kamiya, one of the other Japanese developers, and he was talking about boss difficulty, and the boss difficulty is just right when you're able to have the if you as the designer can beat the boss without taking any damage. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Like, I can beat this boss without taking any damage because I understand all its patterns.
I mean, I could if I wanted to. Oh, crap.
Yeah. Well, but it's still, it's like where you'll probably die like once or twice.
Yeah,
but
definitely at least twice.
Yeah, but like you'll definitely beat it on the third time.
I definitely will.
I love that slow motion parts falling apart death thing. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think visually you've done a really good job of keeping it kind of dark, like the game. Since it's a difficult game, if this was like super bright, happy color time all the time, I think it would draw the wrong crowd.
Yeah, we play a lot with the duality between lightness and darkness. Like if you've noticed in the characters, when you get hit, your blocks go out, and that kind of is a representation of life and intelligence in the game, is illumination. So having everything that's sentient or alive usually has some kind of self-illumination, and when it dies or it kind of it becomes no longer living, I guess. They try to think of another word. Yeah, that's when they lose the illumination, and with the world, obviously there's a contrast between light and dark. We use that to not only to emphasize platformable areas, so where you can actually interact with the world, but also kind of this where you have this kind of cheerful puzzle game and having different kind of dueling themes and where you'd think would normally be a casual game and having more harsh and unforgiving world.
Yeah, it definitely has that unforgiving world feeling.
That was intense. I think I just died after I killed him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I heard the sound effect of me dying, because I knew I only had 1 health left. And as it faded to black, I think I heard myself die.
But, you beat him.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was good. That was also close the third time, too.
Yeah, you beat him with 9 minutes to spare.
Yeah, no, nice. I liked it. That was because like you were saying, the first time I'd played this, there was no boss, and so I when I looked at the map, I saw the skull icon, so I knew there was a boss coming. I didn't really know what to expect, and I had a lot of fun with that boss. It's, like you said, Jeff was saying skill check, like making sure you understood, the fact that how you manipulate the world, and obviously, as of right now, my only attack is the ground pound, so I knew I had to get to his head to attack him. And yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with that.
Good. That's good to hear. We've been kind of working in silence for the last year, so this is the first time we've shown the new face of Tetropolis, which obviously is now Refactor.
Now Refactor.
So we are going to be, I think we can say we're going to be at PAX East. That's about all we'll say. But if you're going to be in Boston in April, is that when it is? I can't remember dates anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty late this year.
It'll be playable there. So there'll be this version, well, maybe not this version of the demo, but we'll probably have the upgrade system and cleaned up version of the boss fight and some other little things we're desperately trying to get in. And I noticed you didn't really run into any bugs, which is great. You didn't run into the list of at least 6 or 7 issues.
The long list of issues that any developer hopes that a player doesn't run into, and like, if you just do this special way, the whole entire game breaks up. Like, yeah,
exactly. Like, don't push this combination of buttons at this one time, otherwise you will need to just Alt F4.
Well, no, I mean, everything worked out good for me. Like I said, the controls were very tight. I do remember playing a different version of the game that also had the long L block. And I was actually kind of hoping for that, because I really enjoyed my time with the L block. With this square version, you can do your ground pound, and if I recall, the L block can compress and then extend rapidly to launch itself. And I had a lot of fun trying to solve puzzles with that as well. So I'm looking for, I assume there will be more than just those 2.
Oh yeah. I mean, you were if we didn't end the demo there, you would have picked up the L block.
Okay, cool. That's
each
the
boss
next thing.
gives you a new shape.
Oh,
and we
nice.
actually we did away with the whole shapes are separate from powers. So whenever you pick up a shape, you get the power for it.
Okay,
So
cool.
it's aside from actually, yeah. I mean, when you turn into a square, you can immediately start slamming. And when you get the I block, the L block, the I block, yeah, the line block. When you get that, then you can start to spring jump. And that's kind of we teach you when you get these powers. That's when we teach you how to use them. And I was gonna say something. We got rid of the shape change. So you only because before earlier versions of the game, you could change to whatever shape you wanted. But then we had people platforming around as like the line block, which was really kind of awkward.
Yeah. No, I do remember doing that myself, trying to get around and making odd jumps and stuff. And yeah. So okay, that makes sense then. I think Jera in chat does ask a good question. If you beat the game very quickly, do you get to see the blocks in a swimsuit?
That's a good suggestion. They'll take off their
take off the blocks to reveal the underneath.
Underneath there was a person all along.
Yeah.
But like they've been inside these cubes as they've been transforming, so I don't know if there's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'd be pretty mangled after the blocks were opened.
Little aliens.
Like a person riding inside of a transformer when they.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're actually I can't believe an hour went by so quickly. This always happens. But do you have any kind of like you're gonna be at PAX East? Is there anywhere else you want to direct people as far as like how to follow the game and make sure that if they thought it was cool, you can
we do have a Twitter account for the studio, which is at NextGenPants. That's all one word, just as it's spelled. We are kind of in the process of doing a bunch of web presence updating. You can go to nextgenpants.com. I actually just fixed our press kit page, so that now has the info for Refactor on it. We have a mailing list you can sign up for on nextgenpants.com. We'll be pushing updates through there. We are doing a kind of a big announcement on Wednesday. On top of the name reveal and the new gameplay, we actually have something else we're announcing on Wednesday. Wednesday morning. So we'll have a bunch more stuff for people to look forward to. So either follow on Twitter or sign up for the newsletter. We're going to be doing a press release this week, so we'll be sending out a bunch of info. If you want to hit that, you can just put your email in the newsletter area, and we'll send that out to everyone there. I'll also be updating our Kickstarter page as well. Like even though the Kickstarter did not achieve funding, we can still contact people through there. So we're using that as a resource to kind of keep everybody who is interested in the game to keep them up to date and let them know that we're still around, we're still working on the game, and it's as badass as ever it is.
Awesome.
That's
actually smart.
It's been a lot of work.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks have been just nothing but like PR stuff, and I've been desperately trying to get stuff fixed in the game too. So it's the life of independent development.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Oh man. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm glad that the timing of this kind of works for your like building up of hype.
Yeah, it worked out great timing as well. We're right before GDC. We'll be at GDC, so if anyone's around there, we can hang out and get coffee or something.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm not gonna go to GDC because I'm a lame butt. I don't have the money or the time. So. Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, I live in I'm just west of Sacramento, so I just go down on the train to San Francisco. It's not that far from me.
You're not going across the whole country or world for it. No. Yeah. That does make it easier.
Makes it way easier.
All right. Awesome. Wow. I've seen an earlier build of this as well, and I think you guys have done a really incredible job, just giving it so much life.
Thanks. It's like a lot on Joseph for kind of when he first started on Tetropolis, he was kind of just getting into
3D.
He did some 3D stuff previously,
and Maya,
but he's
whatever
never
he was working with.
Yeah, he's never done any kind of 3D artwork for games, so it was kind of a fun journey, like watching him grow as an artist through the last couple of years, and he's really kind of produced some phenomenal work now. He's very, very talented, and I'm very fortunate to have him on the team. Whereas before, like with the early Tetrapolis builds, majority of anything that looks like crap, I probably did in MS Paint.
Oh, programmer art, yeah.
Exactly. Though it's the thing is like I try to make the art as terrible as possible, so Joseph comes back and replaces it later.
Sounds like a good plan.
I did do a lot of the UI stuff, so that stuff is still in there. The terrible pixel art for the UI is all my hack job.
Wow.